And Christy says, what do you do about PPP if in 2019 you couldn't W-2 yourself on the S Corp upstart, or I guess she was a startup. So go ahead, JJ.
Yes, in that regard, when you are looking at the circumstances of 1.0, the first draw, you're following the rules and regulations related to that. So if you have not applied for PPP called 2020, it is based on 2019. However, with the first draw, it can include wages that you had in January and February of 2020, and that becomes then your average. You had to have been in business on February 15th, 2020. But for the S Corp owners, there is a little trickiness to that, because when you're looking at not having applied before, you have to follow those rules and regulations. You don't get to apply for the second draw. You won't be able to start paying yourself wages, because in essence, with first draw, they're wanting to ensure that whatever you're qualifying for, it's based on, in essence, the wages that you had going on at that time. So you're in a tricky spot. I would visit with your bank, because what you don't want to do is just go by what you've heard. Get with your bank directly, get into the minutia, and make sure that your bank agrees with the fact that you would only be able to base it on 19. When I understand first draw, you're not having to show a reduction in your gross receipts. It does expand to be the difference. And I'll be honest with you, I've not seen anything on point to say that you can't include 2020. That's why I want you to check with your bank to see if first draw now allows you to select 19 or 20 based on the facts and circumstances of it being the second round. But I've not seen anything on point that says for first draw you get a higher of 19 or 20. So I'm going to check on that at the break, Josh Jalinski, just to be sure, but I've not seen anything that would put that position or make that available to somebody now.
I think what she's saying is she didn't pay herself wages. And I think you had to pay yourself W-2 wages in order to get it if you're a single member. And this is where some accountants are really the problem. They go, oh, pay yourself no salary. Even if you were an S Corp and you paid yourself $30,000 a year of salary, that could have counted. But a lot of accountants who say, well, don't pay yourself anything. Well, number one, you're not going to get Social Security as high. And number two, you're probably going to be out of luck when it comes to PPP. Right, JJ?
That's right. And, there's a lot of S Corp owners out there, and they, in essence, want to take advantage of the S Corp in the sense that the net income is not subject to self-employment tax. I do counsel people that are going to become an S Corp that this is the advantage to it. But I also counsel them, just to your point, they have to pay themselves wages, something reasonable. The majority of my clients, if they're netting, if you will, before any wages to themselves, let's say $100,000, they should at least be paying themselves about a $60,000 wage. As you gradually go up, there really needs to be an increase to the wage. The S Corp owners were on the outside looking in on this, and I don't see that now we're going to have an exception for that, unfortunately. But the S Corp owners that have wages to the employees, now that's going to count even if the S Corp owner had none.
Okay, yeah. And then also, if you don't pay yourself W-2, you can't do a pension, you can't do a cash balance plan, you can't do a defined benefit plan, you can't really do a lot of those retirement plans. So you hurt yourself. We had a show yesterday on JJ, and your listeners can see the edits that we're going to post this week. I think Monday will be the first ones live that will rebroadcast, where we had all these people calling, and they were, because they didn't do that type of thing, they didn't do retirement planning, they were broke and basically relying on Medicare and Social Security. And, they're lucky to make $1,000 a month, some of these people calling in. So, folks, I know your accountant can be slick, but make sure you're paying yourself some W-2 wages or you can't do anything, basically.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jalinski Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and Top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jalinski or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jalinski.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jalinski and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation.
Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.